Thank you for joining us today for another episode of Afterwords with Pastor Adam. This week, we dive into the minds and the thoughts and opinions of Adam and Adrienne with a Q&A session. All this and more on today's episode. Stay tuned. All right. Thank you for joining us, guys. We're back, and I've got Adrienne with me today. I'm so happy she's here with us to enjoy in this podcast and this wonderful music that I know
Just
that she
jamming
loves.
out to the music, yeah.
Know that she loves so much. Yeah. Thanks for being here, Adrienne.
Mm-hmm.
Today's a Q&A day. Question and answers. You guys have questions. We've got answers. Maybe, right?
Yep.
So let's...
this is like a 5-year refresher. I think we did this 5 years ago.
So if you remember...
did you record it? Like, was it like a...
Yeah.
You sent
It
it
was
out?
when COVID first hit and we were doing everything online, Sundays and Wednesdays. And on Wednesdays, we were doing lives, I think.
Yeah.
Live Bible studies.
So...
And we did that for a...
Yeah. We did a Facebook Live Q&A probably 5 years ago.
It was 5 years ago.
It was in our living room during COVID, and boy, that was wild. We went for a long time. I think that was a 2-hour.
Yeah.
It was a long time. We had a lot of people that had good questions and good questions for us, and so we just went. But
wonder how things will change from then till now. I would never go back and watch them, but.
Yeah.
Somebody probably will.
You know, had I thought about it, I should have went back and pulled some of those questions from all those years ago, and we could have answered some of those same questions tonight. And
is that on our YouTube channel or?
It is. You can find it on our YouTube channel, and I know it's on our Facebook. I know it's on our Facebook page, but I mean, you would have to scroll for a while to find it. Unless there's some fancy search bar on there that I'm not familiar with.
Just look for younger, thinner, less gray, less wrinkled Adam and Adrienne.
Right.
See what pops up.
Less stressed. Yeah. Yeah. And more comfortable. I mean, we were right there in our living room, and it was a great time. So, yeah, we're looking.
No headphones.
No headphones, no microphones. It was just. What did we use? Did we use our phone on a tripod?
I don't know. Computer, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't know.
But it was technology. We've changed. We've come on up. We're moving on up, as I believe. I know you don't care, but we've come.
About technology, you know.
Yeah. Well, anyways, today is Q&A. But before we get started with that, let's find out how'd your day go.
I had a great day
because I didn't really get to see you. I'm
at all today.
I'm half in work attire here, but I pretty much come straight from work to here and get set up and ready to roll. I got to see you for a few minutes and see Finley, but anything exciting happened today?
No, it was a good day. We got out of the house today. You know, sometimes I stay-at-home mom, you don't get out of the house much.
Yeah.
We got out of the house today. We went to the big Walmart.
That's a big day.
My mom came with us. Amelia called and wanted to come over. I said, well, we're getting ready to go to Walmart. So she went with us, and then we ran a few errands, dropped lunch off to you.
Yeah.
Went back to Mom's. It was a good day.
Yeah,
Finley had a good old time. You know, she's crazy about Amelia, so.
Yeah. Alex, I got to take Finley into the office today for a few minutes when they brought lunch out to me.
Right.
Yeah, she was a little bit in awe of, I think, all the big stuff, like front loaders and logs and big saws.
She was also ready for a nap and some milky, so she, you know, she had a lot on her mind.
Yeah, she looked at the mill manager with stink face, and I was like, oh no, but it was fine. I told him that she was looking for an application.
Yeah. It was a good day, a really good day.
Yeah,
a bit hot, you know.
Yeah,
to get out and do stuff.
It's been a little spicy.
It was spicy, yeah.
But it was a good day. It was a good day for me too. Now, I want to ask Alex how his day was, but I know his day started off rough. Alex lost a little chicken this morning.
It's upsetting, even though
anytime something passes away in your hands, it doesn't matter what it is.
Tiny little chicken that just wanted to be a chicken. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did bother me.
Yeah, well, that chicken had plans for today.
That's right.
And yeah, so it just, before the podcast started, Adrienne, and before you got here, me and Alex had a conversation about it, and we've come to the conclusion that we think maybe this chicken had pneumonia. We don't know, but
Yeah, I think it did.
it was, yeah,
ChatGPT said it did.
yeah.
Well,
That's never wrong.
I mean, there's only so many things a chicken could have, right?
Yeah.
Kristen always says that, she watches a lot of those chicken videos,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? And she said that the theme is a chicken doesn't need a reason to die.
That's what I've always heard. Yep.
They don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
If you can keep a
We've
chicken
just
for a
been
few years, you're doing good.
We've been very fortunate that,
Yeah.
so we've always heard when you go to Tractor Supply or you get a bunch of them, because usually you have to buy them in multiples.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, well, a few of them probably won't make it. But we've never had a chicken not make it.
Which is how you ended up with so many chickens to begin with.
Yeah. They all made it. And then
Yeah.
we hatched our own.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was a little more vetted into this little chicken.
yeah, you had skin in the game with these because you watched them come from eggs.
Mm.
And if
They
you
imprinted on
did the
you.
math on the cost of these chickens, that was probably $100 chicken.
Yeah.
Those are some expensive eggs. More expensive than the grocery store eggs, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're probably like $20 a piece.
Yeah.
If you do some long-term math.
Okay, so think about that for just a second. And people get into raising chickens, or they have these hobby farms and they have these chicken tractors in their backyard and all this stuff, and they're trying to, and they say, well, I've got 10 chickens and I'm getting my own eggs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, by the time you go and you get chicken feed,
if you feed them all their treats and
right, like Kristen goes and gets some bags of dried worms.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
It's a loss.
sure,
that's what I'm saying. I don't.
they're pets.
For me, and I mean,
Well, when we had chickens,
We had a
saved
couple.
money. Yeah.
we had a couple, and what were their names? Rose and Blanche. We named them after the Golden Girls, or you named them after the
Yeah.
Golden Girls.
Mhm.
I didn't.
Yep. There's some
Ours, we've got a few named after, I don't know. It's,
Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, there we go. One of them's name's Penny. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so I don't think a person is like saving tons of money by feeding chickens and getting their own. I mean,
No.
because how much
We
is
could probably do a whole
You
podcast on
buy
that.
once I bought the coop,
that's okay.
I buy the coop and I'm probably down for 5 years. And then the chicken probably doesn't make it.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's never a win.
The chicks that are in your coop are never going to pay for that coop.
No, they're never going to pay their rent. Negative. They can't, because you only get an egg every few days. They're little chickens.
Yeah. Ask ChatGTP how stupid that is. Because
Bad math.
I don't think it's a good business. I don't think it's a good investment.
No,
but that's
yeah.
just me. And then you've got all the things. Birds that just
Adam,
up
I
and
just
die.
feel like you don't have a leg to stand on here. So
No, I'm just saying that you have all
about your
the-
hobbies that save money.
Oh no, I'm not talking about saving money.
Deer meat is so cheap.
Yeah, I'm in at $1,000 a pound right now.
Yeah.
But so what I'm saying though is that by the time they die, and then we've got these hawks that fly around our house. For those who don't know, Alex and I live on the same street, and between my house and yours, Alex, I mean, these hawks just they've got like a racetrack. They just,
Well, my rooster announces every morning and every evening where he's hanging out.
Mhm.
He's like, "Hey, come and get us." Basically, he's what he's telling the neighborhood.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Oh, the life of a chicken farmer. Well, Alex, we're sorry for your
Sorry
loss.
for your loss.
yeah,
And
I really am.
did you name him?
yeah. Called it tiny chicken.
Tiny chicken.
Look at this little tiny chicken I got.
That was the tiniest one.
Yeah, it was the run. I think he decided it was a couple weeks late or a couple days late, maybe on hatching, and so anyways, so yeah, we've had good days. Alex experienced loss today,
Mhm.
but things are going good. Things are going good for the most part. We've had a couple weeks of of just kind of, we're in a summertime lull right here in church right now. We don't have VBS is behind us, and July and August is always a good month to just sit back. Like when June ends, we're like,
Yeah, July especially is
I
kind
mean,
of like,
because you finish out June and you're like, VBS is done, the fair parades are done, all the things, and And then you go into July, and it's like, okay, I got my 8 weeks of summer here between July and August, where we're not really pressing.
Doing a whole lot, yeah.
We're not.
And I feel
running
like
around
when
like
September
crazy.
hits, church gets really busy again. It's like
Yeah.
busy season until like January.
Yeah, because it works like that.
September, October,
because,
November, December.
Because September, we got our church picnic and
Well,
and
we
all
just
of that
start all
stuff
the
and
all kinds
all the
of
fall
stuff.
stuff, and this year, we got big plans for a harvest fall party at the church property. There's all kinds of things that we're talking about doing. So it's just nice to be enjoying this little slow time right now. They don't come very often, but anyhow, yeah. So, all right, I think we've got some questions and answers, and
From the voice in the back.
yeah, and we better.
What's cool?
We better
People,
get into it.
People are like asking,
Yeah.
like what Alex looks like.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be cool if they just never know.
Yeah.
You just get to be the voice.
Like Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Or like The Price is Right. The
Yeah,
guy who
the
always
announcer.
calls the names, but nobody ever gets to see his face.
What's that show with Tim Allen?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Wilson.
Wilson?
Yeah, across the
Oh,
You
shoot.
only see from
Yeah.
you only see from like nose up or
Mhm.
something like that.
No, somebody did. Somebody asked me the other day, and I was telling Adrienne, I said, I wish I could remember who it was. So if you're watching today and you're the one who asked me, send me a text message because it's been driving me crazy. Somebody asked me, what does Alex look like?
Mhm.
And I obviously they don't come to church here. They would know.
Yeah.
But I didn't tell them. I said, I'm not going to tell you.
When back in the day of when we like listened to the radio and there were DJs that we liked, on our favorite station,
Yeah.
I never wanted to know what they looked like because in
Yeah.
my mind I had my own picture of
Well,
them.
they,
So it was like
they
ruined.
always say if you're the person back here, you have a face for radio, right?
Yeah. There's a reason we stuck
Okay,
it in
ask the
closet.
questions.
Hang on just a second.
We're getting sidetracked now.
Yeah, I lost what I was going to say. Yeah, go ahead. I'm ready. I'm ready for some questions. You've got questions. We've got answers.
So we have questions that are broke down into subjects.
Okay.
Probably more questions than we can get through unless we
Yeah,
burn
you
through them
might
quickly.
skip around if you need to.
So I'll let you all choose like what subject. We don't have to like go through each subject question
Okay.
by question. So say one.
Yeah, can't we
two,
just do like
Yeah.
a couple in each?
one? Yeah,
2,
2, 3.
and then if
4,
we have
5,
time, loop back
6.
around.
So we have 6 subjects. One is faith and ministry. The other subject is marriage and family, church life, personal and relatable, deeper questions, and fun and lighthearted. So I'm going to let you all pick which, I guess, subject the question can come from first.
What do you think?
Well, let's start with faith and ministry because this is
Faith
a
and
good
ministry.
this
for
is a good one
100.
just to start out.
I would like to end on the lighthearted.
Lighthearted.
I think that's
Okay.
a good one to.
Maybe we
probably
just
end
won't be so long-winded and we can like rock
Yeah.
through
on. I
them.
don't know.
There's 20
Yeah,
questions
we
here.
can
So.
rock through them.
So this is a classic question. What originally called you into ministry, and how did you know it was God's plan for your life?
Adrienne?
Okay.
He
Well,
was expecting me to answer.
I
first.
was, yeah. Okay. What called me into ministry? Well, people who've known me since I was probably in high school will know that I always said there's 2 kind of people I don't want to be married to. One is a soldier, the other is a pastor. I had no desire to be married to somebody that was either one of those things
Yeah.
my whole life. I just thought, man, if I married to a soldier, like, how scary is that going to be? And they're always going to be gone, for the bigger, greater calling. And
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of that. And then kind of same with a pastor, but, maybe not overseas or gone somewhere, but
Yeah.
you're just always serving and you're never right. It's a whole thing. I didn't want to be married to a pastor, but, his ways are higher than our ways, thank God. So I had always served in the church, like from the time I was a child. My mom was a good example of that. Like once she started, she went to church when she was a younger adult, married, gave her life to the Lord, and then kind of didn't go to church for a while. And then when we were little kids, she started going back to church again, rededicated her life to the Lord, and been going strong ever since. But she would always serve in the church, whatever it would be. I can remember her painting the floor in the children's church room, all that. So I really had an example set before me of a server. My mom's still a server in all ways of her life. So I really always served in the church, so I was in some type of ministry always, even when I was a kid. I just didn't know that's what it was until I got older. I started like directing VBSs when I was like 18 or 19 years old.
Yeah,
I always taught, kids classes. I've done all that. So I've always ministered in some way within the church, always. And then, when you and I got together, that you were already starting that, and then we've been doing it together. And then I'll let you go from there.
So you think your calling into the ministry was, of course, God calling you to serve in children's ministry and things like that, but
yes,
but marriage, marrying somebody who was already called into the ministry, that opened a door for you to serve in a different capacity.
Right. And, I have the personality type.
Yeah.
I don't know if personality is the word, but to be a pastor's wife.
Yeah.
Because you have to, sometimes you have to go to battle for your husband. You have to go to battle for your church in a ways. Battle might sound dramatic, but, and I'm sort of, I can kind of handle that kind of stuff sometimes. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear somebody saying ugly things about you.
Right.
That's another reason I didn't want to be a pastor's wife.
Yeah.
But, I can deal with people, I don't always want to. How about that? How's that for a pastor's wife? I don't always want to deal with people, but, I think God made me, and I had a good teacher, a good pastor's wife growing up that kind of took me under and just taught me everything, So, I guess God knew that's what I was made for, even though I didn't.
Yeah. I think for me, it wasn't, like Paul, he had this great epiphany where, the light shone around him and God put him in a room and put scales on his eyes. And Paul knew right then he was going to serve the Lord in a capacity that way. For me, it wasn't. When I got saved, see, my situation was a little bit different. For those who know, I was saved in a jail. I got saved in jail when I was a very young man after making some mistakes. And so my situation was a little bit different because when I got saved, I had nothing but time to spend in prayer, to spend studying. And so it was through my studying and writing and meditating on the Word and all these things, I started getting an understanding of the Word and such a deep relationship with the Lord and walking with Him that I could just feel the Holy Spirit speaking to me all the time. And the way I was receiving the Word and the way I was interpreting it, I knew, just again, the Holy Spirit calling, that there was people out there who needed to hear it the way that I was receiving it. But
wouldn't you say it happened just sort of step by step by step by step, from the time you were saved until where you're sitting now? It wasn't like, boom, I'm supposed to be a pastor. It was just this step, this step, this step, this step.
It didn't come all at once.
Mm-hmm.
It was because the Word tells us that if we're faithful with the small things, then He will give us the big things.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you have to do is you have to take what God gives you right then, and you have to be faithful with it, and you have to serve where God has planted you. And then when you get too big for that pot, or when God grows you to a point that you're too big for the space that you're in, then He moves you up to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're faithful with that and you grow in that and you outgrow that, then He moves you. And so now we're here some 20
Yeah,
something
and it
years
started
later.
out like you started teaching Bible study.
Yeah.
Some, and then before you know it, we were youth
Yeah.
leaders, and then you were
Mhm.
associate pastor, and you were
Yeah.
associate pastor at another church, and then you were pastor.
Yeah, but and then so that like the second part of Alex's question here is like, okay, so how did we know? How did I know that that's what I was supposed to do? Well, again, I wish there was some way of saying, hey, I remember that day where it was like
Mhm.
God said, this is what you're going to do, and that's it. That never came. But what did come was a desire in my heart to share the word where it seemed like the only time that I was really, I don't want to say happy, but the only time that I was ever really felt like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing is when I was teaching or behind the pulpit. And I thought, right then, okay, I'm at peace here, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm in my
You're using what God has given you.
right. And let me tell you,
You know.
when you're doing that, there's just a peaceful, like some people say, "Oh, Adam, I could never do what you do." Or I could never get up in front of people and speak on a Sunday morning or a Wednesday night. Well, maybe you can't because you're not called to that.
Mhm.
But if you're called to that, you will find comfort in that.
Well, it's like anything. What's the saying? If you do something you love, then it's not it's not like you have a job. You don't have
Right.
it.
Right.
Mhm.
And I tell people that all the time is that what I do on Sunday mornings and what I do on Wednesday night, the preaching and the teaching, that is not the hard part of my job. That comes easy.
Mhm.
I can sit down. I'm not listen, I cannot do it, but the Holy Spirit through me. Well, I can sit down and I can write a message pretty quick.
Mm.
When I say pretty quick, I mean half a day.
It's relative.
I mean, pretty quick. I wouldn't say that at all, but
Right. I can.
maybe compared to some people that
Right.
aren't called to do this.
Right. But
Because I feel like it takes you many, many, many hours to prepare one message.
It does. It does. But if somebody calls me in a pinch and says, "Hey, I need something," I can sit down and do that because that's what I'm called to do. And God has equipped me to be able to do that. But to know that that's what I'm supposed to do, I would say it's just because I've got a peace when I'm doing it.
Well, and God has, you're using what God has given
Yeah.
you. If God has given somebody, a love and a talent for singing,
Yeah.
well, they're probably supposed to be on the praise team, maybe, if that's what.
Right.
But you got to, God sort of gives you these clues by
agree.
sort of the gifts that He puts into you.
Yeah. I don't know if that makes any sense, Alex. but
Yeah.
that's-
No, I'll take it. All right.
So much for answering quick.
Yeah.
Whoops.
We'll be
Whoops.
able to
You're right.
answer 4 questions.
You're right.
We'll take the 16 others and toss them.
We'll save those for after 5 years.
5 more years.
5 more years from now.
All right. So this one under church life.
Oh.
So what do you hope people experience when they walk through the doors of Salem Community Church for the first time? Like what kind of experience, what kind of feeling, like what do you hope for them?
I know I've got my answer.
Me too.
Go for it.
It's going to be the same as mine.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, of course, we want people to feel the Holy Spirit, right? But we want people to.
You're going to say, I'm going to write it first.
Okay.
Okay.
We want people to feel welcome when they come here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you said it different than I did, but I wrote down community.
Yeah.
That's what I want people to feel.
That's why we call this church Salem Community Church.
Yeah. And some people think, well, you call it Salem Community Church because you're in the community.
Mm.
No, my thought and my prayer when we called this church Salem Community Church was not just that we serve in this community, but you feel connected. You feel part of this community when you're here, and you're welcome here.
Community of the church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I wish I might have to take. I'll take a picture of it, and I'm going to upload it whenever okay, when I download this or upload this to Facebook, or YouTube and Facebook and all that stuff in the morning, I'm going to take a picture of our welcome wall because and I'm going to put it on here so you guys can see it.
Yeah.
But
That was very important to me.
Everyone has commented on that wall. When you walk in the door, you're met with a big blue wall in our church, and in great big letters on this wall, it says "Welcome Home." And I cannot tell you how many people are out there that have come into this church for the very first time, and that be the first thing they see, and they have been looking for a place to call home. And they walk in and they say, you know.
That was important to me and to you when we decided. I mean, that was there before we started this church.
Yeah.
I mean, we decided to put that up.
Does it still just say "Welcome Home"?
Welcome home.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've got a sideways picture here that you can show a little
Okay.
bit.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Let me,
But it was just important that for me, that's what I wanted people to feel, welcome. You know,
Yeah.
everybody's been to churches before where they go in and they don't feel welcome. They feel like a foreigner, you know, in a land. And we didn't want people to feel that way. We wanted them to feel like they were walking in. Yes, this is a church. Yes, it's a reverent place, but we want you to feel as welcome here as you would at your home. You know, we want this to feel like your home.
I pulled it up so they can see it.
Oh, they got it?
Yeah, they got it. I got like a picture-in-picture going.
Okay. Well, and I will tell you this, too, is that to visit a church for the very first time is unnerving.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, it takes a lot for a person to come to the place in their life where they're like, okay, I'm going to go visit this church. I'm going to go. I'm feeling called there. I'm going to go and I'm going to see what their service is about. And I'm going to meet some of these people and see if they're as nice as they let on and all of that. And it takes so much courage to come in the door for the very first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important that when people come in, that let me tell you, when you walk in this door, the first thing you're going to get met with is Joe Kaknavage.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to hand you a bulletin. What are you laughing at?
So yesterday, Alan, my stepdad, right?
Okay, yeah.
And he said, they're from Florida, more city-ish. And he said that he knew when he showed up to the door, he goes, I knew I was in a good, he called it hometown church.
Yeah.
And I said, why? And he goes, well, when the greeter from the church shakes your hand and he's wearing bib overalls.
Denim overalls.
He goes,
every Sunday. That's
what he goes,
man, Joe's my
you
guy.
know that you're going to be in a comfortable place. And that's what he said. And I started laughing. I said, yep, that's Joe. He's great.
Yeah. And see, here's what I love about, I love everybody in our church. But you're going to get met by Joe, and Joe is going to hold the door for you.
Mm-hmm.
He probably opens that door 1,000 times
Oh, my
a week.
goodness.
But he's going to hold the door for you. He's going to hand you a bulletin. You're going to be met by Joe, and he's going to have on his work boots, his bib overalls, and maybe a past year's VBS T-shirt.
Maybe so, yeah. And before that, we had Max.
Yeah, we had
Max.
Max
Did it.
Max was great at it too.
And so he did it for years, and then now he's given Joe a turn, and both of them are, we always have said since the beginning, we have the friendliest door greeters in town.
Yeah, we do. And so I think that's important, not just have the door greeter, but I think Joe is such a good fit for that because he is such a snapshot of what you're going to find in this church.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to find somebody who is not, there's nothing wrong with what Joe's wearing.
It's just a bunch of normal people.
But Joe's not going to be in a 3-piece suit and meet you at the door and make you feel uncomfortable.
No.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's important. You can come as you are in what you have on.
We always say just cover your parts.
Cover
your parts with whatever you want and come on in.
Cover it up and get in here.
Yeah.
Because, and Alex, you've heard me say this, and I'm a firm believer in this. And Adrienne, you've heard it too. That we are probably the best kept secret in Salem. A lot of people, over the last 7 years, people have come to know we're here.
Right. Yeah.
But When people come here, and again, this isn't me, this isn't Adrienne, it's just the spirit and the love that's in this church. But when people come here, they stay. I mean, it's hard to leave a place that's welcoming and loving and feels like home. So
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. So I want people to feel
I
welcome.
want them to feel welcome and feel a part of something.
Yeah.
All right, let's find something here. Let's go with how do you all individually, not together, let's go individually. How do you all unwind after a busy Sunday or a busy church day? Like individually, if you were going to do something like on your own, not together.
What do you think?
Well, Sunday afternoons we usually are together.
Yeah.
Rarely are we apart on a Sunday afternoon, but so I'm not sure how to answer that individually.
Our Sunday afternoons after we leave here are usually, and I know you said not together, but if you go not together, then it's not going to be a Sunday afternoon because our Sundays are spent together.
Usually, yeah.
But I will say that, our typical Sundays, we leave here by 1:00 in the afternoon.
Usually, yeah.
And then it's usually fine lunch. And
we usually get lunch.
And then off to home.
Pre-baby, we would usually
Right.
just chill. Like pre-baby, we would just that would be the one time, because you're not big on sitting down and watching a movie.
So it's storming here at Salem Community Church.
You're not big on watching a movie, but that may be the time we would sit down and watch a movie. I've never been a big napper, but if you were ever going to nap at all for an hour, 30 minutes, it would be on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Since babies come along, there's not much chill time. But
There's no napping allowed.
We do. But I would say we unwind a lot on my mom's porch on Sunday evenings, probably.
Screened-in porch
porch swing.
So
nice.
let's expand on that and then say, if you had a half a day individually and you were going to do something on your own, like fun, like if you're like, you know what, I've got a half a day, I'm going to go do something fun that I'm going to enjoy, whether, what would that be?
Yeah. I'm hooking up the boat. I'm hooking up the boat and I'm going to Monroe Lake.
You're going fishing.
I'm chasing crappie.
Well, I'm probably going to Spring Mill.
Yeah.
Taking a walk.
There we go. That's what I was looking for.
Yep.
Perfect.
I'm loading the boat.
And we used to, which this may be another question, but we used to kind of set a rule so that we could unwind, because we can never really turn this off. We'd be like, okay, we're going out to eat. So in the car, on the way, anything else you need to say about church? Nope.
Yeah.
Anything else you need to say about church? Nope. Okay, well, when we go in to have our lunch or dinner or whatever, we're not talking about church stuff. So
I agree with that, because
there's times we have to turn it off.
The first several years, my gosh, all the time.
It's like anybody personal. I know church isn't work, but it is.
It is both. Yeah.
So a lot of people, mixing work and fun, work and family life, it's sometimes tough. People have trouble separating.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we had to, and there was times Adrienne would say go ahead.
Based off of the direction we're going, let me go ahead and preface this with a question.
Okay.
How has being in ministry impacted your marriage and family life? So, for better or for challenge, or
I thought she was going to say for better or worse.
Yeah, challenge.
Go ahead.
Well, I would say there's times we probably don't have, even, Gavin was a big boy and moved out and lived on his own. So you would think, two single people have all this free time in the world. But because we had church stuff to do, I feel like we didn't have as much free time, in our marriage at times, where other people might be able to go do this or that. Sometimes you feel like you can't go do this or that because we have to do that. So it is like we have to be intentional about our time together. Yeah. But it's sort of, you feel like you're in this covenant, me and Adam and God. And also maybe the church sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I'm married to the church a little bit as well,
Yeah.
you know?
That's fair.
And there are times when I'm like, you just need to stop, Adam. No.
Yeah.
Not everything is a crisis, you know?
So
You have to learn that.
You mentioned that, when you all went out on Sundays, that you said, all right, we're just going to go out. We're going to enjoy each other. We're going to not talk about church. So what are some other ways that you intentionally protect your time together as a couple? Because I remember the other day you all are having a conversation and Adam was talking about something to get back to. And then you were just like, no, you're not coming back. We're doing this. This is like, we've planned this. We're not doing this.
Yeah.
And Adam was like, well, we could do this. And then you were like, no.
Oh, yeah.
I remember hearing
no,
it.
Do you remember what it was?
It's camping.
No, shoot.
It was camping. It's coming back on Wednesday or something.
Oh, yeah.
Adrienne
I was like, no.
No, we've planned camping. We're
Well,
going
because
camping.
we were supposed to go on a camping trip.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
a dear childhood friend, her mom passed away.
Yeah.
And so we were supposed to, anyways, we basically lost a day of our trip, which is fine. We would not change that.
No.
That is part of ministry. There you go.
That's the calling.
So we were already getting there Monday night. And then Adam was like, well, maybe I should just come back and do Bible study on Wednesday. And I said, nope.
I don't remember that.
No,
Yeah.
we're
I
not
was
doing
laughing.
that. No, the answer is no.
Yeah.
Nope.
But you
Nope.
have to, right?
You have to draw lines, and you just have to draw lines, and and it's really hard because it's not like
you don't wanna-
I've taken a vacation from work. I'm not taking any work calls because these are people's hearts that you feel like you're dealing with, and they need you, and But again, you have to learn that you can't fill everybody else's cup unless you get your cup filled up sometimes too.
Yeah.
And that does spill over into our marriage. And especially we have the church property now, and sometimes, the wheels spin out of control, and I have to be like, okay, and for both of us.
Yeah.
I went through this whole season for the past year and whatever about God sort of bringing me to a halt.
Yeah.
Changing some things in my life that I wasn't changing on my own. So he was like, well, I'm going to do it. You're not going to like it the way I do it. But it's, kind of control about things here. And it's not because I need to be the boss here. It's just because it's a protective type of thing. We've talked about this before. It's a protective thing.
But all couples need that. I mean, how many things do you hear about you should plan a date night, right? You hear that no matter what job or occupation, even if you're, stay at home, you have to separate and get back to, a little bit of normalcy.
Yeah.
But with church, it doesn't turn off is the thing.
Right.
Can never turn off.
A phone call changes your plans.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And hey, I would say in the season we're in right now, we're not doing a very good job at drawing lines and turning things off, are we?
No.
Let's just call it like it is. We're just not doing a very good job of that right now.
No. It seems like, okay, so and here's the thing too, so
we could do a whole podcast on this question.
yeah. Again, it's part of the calling. I knew that when I stepped into it. So I don't regret that.
And we're many years into knowing that,
Yeah. It's not something I dread. It's not. I enjoy what I do, and I enjoy being used by God to help people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that being said, so I have the church, and, we're ministering to all of our members here and all of our visitors, and we get done with Sunday morning, and then we turn around and we hit the ground running on Monday, and it's preparing for Bible study. And, we've said it before that it's like, okay, let's say you have a baby.
Yeah, it's my favorite quote ever about preachers.
You have a baby, all week long, this thing has grown in you. And on Sunday morning at 10:30, when I step into the pulpit, I deliver this. And I give birth to it. And then I go home, and Monday morning, I'm pregnant again.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
it's-
all week long.
Yeah, being a pastor is like giving birth on Sunday and waking up Monday pregnant.
Yeah, it's just all week long. These things grow in you
Mhm.
until you can deliver them on Sunday, and then it's right back at it. And so, with that being said, it's like, so all week long, I do the church, I do the ministry, pastoring with the church, and then I'm also a corporate chaplain, and I'm busy with that. Several states, 2,500 employees that I'm counseling and spiritually giving direction to, and trying my best to help them. And I do a lot of traveling. I'm in and out a lot, and so ministry is my life. Saturday is the only day of the week that I have off. Like Saturday is my off day.
But depending on what is
But
going
depending
on
on who
at the church
calls.
on Sunday, but also depending on
Yeah.
what's going on at the church on Sunday, a lot of times we don't get Saturdays. We have to
Right.
like prepare for this or that, and that's fine.
Yeah. So Saturdays are like my only day off. So I kind of protect those, and I kind of save those for the things that I love to do. But again, it's not always easy
Yeah.
to get
I
time
would just
away to
say
be able
we're
to do
not
those
in a
things.
good season of drawing boundaries, being intentional about
Well,
things.
you're going to have to
we're
just
not in a
have to
good
work on
season
that.
about
pull
it.
open the calendar and just throw some dates on there and make
That's
it happen.
right.
That's just what you got to
Yeah.
do. I agree.
But if I'm gone, then Alex has to preach, and then who knows?
And then everybody will know what he looks like. So
Right.
I can always stay back here and show a movie like
But I
Movie
will say,
day.
I will say this: that God has placed some good people in our church
Oh,
that,
my
that
gosh,
we're
yes.
able now
Mm-hmm.
to draw some lines in the sand and be able to say, hey, on these days we're going to be gone,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm going to need some people to step in and
Yeah.
step up.
And, we just need to do a better job of right now of, I have always said, right or wrong, this is what I believe. It's God, family, church family.
Yeah.
And sometimes we get that a little wacky. So,
Yeah, it gets a little.
yeah.
Easy to blur the lines.
Yep.
The lines do get blurred.
All right, next question. So this one's a little more lighthearted.
Okay.
So if you could have dinner, so individually, right? If you could have dinner with one person from the Bible other than Jesus, who would it be and why? One person.
Yeah, I figured I would know who you were going to say.
I've got a couple.
No,
but
you just
I
get
know,
one.
I know, and so I need to narrow it down. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, I've got a couple.
Doesn't have
too,
to be
but
lengthy.
I would say probably Hannah. Hannah and I went through some of the same type of things. I was a modern day Hannah.
Yeah.
So probably Hannah.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk.
Yeah.
I know I'm not allowed to say this, but I would also like to meet Boaz. Such a good guy. I don't have to have dinner with him, but I would like to meet him. Was he a nice man?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Anyway,
Hannah. That's my one, Hannah.
Hannah.
I'm a real follower. Hannah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. I'm going to say Paul.
Yeah, I figured you would.
I'm going to say Paul. He and I have a lot to talk about.
Mm-hmm. A lot of changed man, too. A lot of similarities minus the murder thing, but.
Yeah. Yeah. Minus the murder thing.
Do either of you have a favorite Bible verse?
Mm-hmm.
And what's the reasoning on the favorite Bible verse?
Mine is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 and 6, where it says, lean not on your own understanding, but in all ways acknowledge God, and he'll make your path straight. I just think that, for me, that's been my compass. That's been my guiding light in life, is because I have leaned on my own understanding many, many times, and it has got me in places that I didn't want to be, doing things I didn't need to be doing with people that I had no business doing them with. And I found that when I lean on the Lord's understanding and I lean on Him, He makes life so much better.
Mine is 1 Peter 5:7. Cast all your cares on him, for he cares for you. How much comfort that is. I think of it like a parent almost. And, and it says all. Cast all your cares. Some say all your anxieties, depends on the translation. But I just like that it says all, too. One time I was somewhere and somebody's like, "Oh, I'm not praying for somebody's dog." Somebody said, "Oh, my dog's not doing well." But like, I'm not praying for somebody's dog. I don't pray for pets. And I'm like, we do. God says, cast all your cares on him. You care about it, then God cares about it.
If Alex would have called me this morning, I'd have come down and I'd have prayed over
I
that
did pray
chicken.
for his chicken. Kristen sent me a message, said the chicken's not doing well. And I said, oh my goodness. So I said a prayer for the chicken.
I would have, but
I believe, that verse.
I caught the end of it.
Yeah, that verse says.
It's in little chicken heaven
That's
right
now. Cast all your cares on him. What a good, big God.
Yeah, that's right.
So, Adam, this one's just for you. Oh. So one of your sermons, is there one sermon or message that you have preached or possibly heard that deeply impacted you personally? Like you preached something and when you got done, you were just like, wow, I should have preached that to myself. And like one that stood out, that stands really out. And, one that you kind of think about often that maybe stuck with you?
Yeah. I don't know if it stuck with anybody else, but it stuck with me.
Well, that's all that matters.
And I guess maybe because I remember writing it and I remember thinking, I wish every message that I wrote popped out like that. Because sometimes, with this particular message that I'm going to share, it seemed like it jumped out of the pages at me and it pretty much wrote itself. And I was like, man, how easy this pastor thing would be if every message came like that and jumped off the pages and was like, hey, write me. That would be great. But I wrote a message one time about the second mile, the Roman mile.
The smile mile.
The smile mile.
I remember that.
And the Roman law was that if a Roman soldier came along and passed your property and saw you standing outside, by Roman law, he could hand you his backpack, his shield, his sword, all of his battle equipment. And by law, you were required to carry that 1 mile with him. But Jesus says that I tell you that if a man tells you to walk a mile, you walk 2. And because the first mile is required, but the second mile, that's the smile mile. That's the miracle mile. That's the one you're walking, not because you're required to, but because you want to.
What you do when no one's watching that matters.
It's because you have a heart of service.
Right, yeah.
And so, I remember writing that and thought, how many times do we just go what is required of us?
Mm-hmm.
When the gospel tells us that Jesus says, don't do what's just required. Go that extra mile. So I'd say that one.
Awesome. All right. So here's another one. If you were not a preacher, right, and you could switch, so think of everybody in the congregation. You know what everybody does.
Yeah.
So if you could, for a day, or a couple days, or a week, switch jobs with someone in the congregation, like you do what they do, whether theirs is a 9 to 5 or what, which job would that be? Like what job, you don't have to say who does it. You can leave that out unless you want to.
Nobody's a pilot. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So you could, what would that job be, and why would you want to do it?
And do you know something, Adrienne? I'm thinking. Do you have somebody in your mind?
For me? Oh, great. I'm boring.
You don't have to name the person. You can just name what occupation they have.
Looking out here in the chairs and going through the rows,
That's what I have to do. I have to look at.
Well, before I was a pastor's wife, I was a full-time substitute teacher. And I did love the children, so I guess I could switch with one of the teachers, but that sort of seems scary nowadays,
Not as rewarding as
it's been 5 years now, and I'm like, I don't know if I could go back to that.
Good old teaching days are over.
I do miss it. I miss the kids.
Yeah.
So maybe a teacher. I'm trying to think of any cool jobs other people have.
Yeah. I'm thinking
Maybe I could switch with my mom.
Yeah.
She's retired.
I
I mean, partially. She still works a little bit. But.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the person who's retired. I'm gonna say probably the lawyer. We've got a lawyer here in church. I'm gonna say him, just because when I think of that, I think, okay, somebody who's able to help somebody in obviously a dire situation. I'm going to say that. But I will say that I don't mean this against anybody that's in our church. Don't get me wrong, but I can't think of anybody who has a better job than what I get to do.
Yeah.
You're really wishing somebody was a pilot out there in one of the chairs,
aren't
you?
If somebody in our church was a UPS pilot or flew a commercial plane for an airline, I'd be like,
or maybe it was part of the Blue Angels or something.
Let me tell you what, if we had a
since
Blue
you
Angel,
always look at these videos and you're like, I could do that.
I've been waiting. It has been my dream that somebody would. So every year, the Blue Angels give an honor flight for someone who serves in their community in some capacity, and they invite them down to Pensacola to the naval base, and you get to take a ride with the Blue Angels, but you can't nominate yourself.
Everybody nominate Pastor Adam.
So please go to theblueangels.com and nominate me for an airplane ride, a jet ride. I would love that. That would be, man, I could die a happy man. But
why do you have to die?
Well, I don't have to die. I'd hope I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But anyhow, yeah. I would say it'd be a pilot if there was somebody here. But.
If you all could take a vacation anywhere in the world, where would it be? Just real quick, anywhere in the world. Any secret thing you guys watch on the History Channel or the National Geographic, and you're like, oh, I'd love to go visit that place.
We are nature nerds,
We are.
We like to watch the nature shows.
I've always wanted to go to Ireland.
Yeah.
Always wanted to go to Ireland. I think there was a time when we wanted to go somewhere and swim with the pigs in the ocean.
Oh, that was in the Bahamas, yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to go to like Fiji or the Maldives.
I want to go
but
somewhere
honestly,
where there's no snakes. Is that New
New Zealand? Yeah,
I'll go there.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, like my dream would be to go swim with the orcas, but
yeah. I've seen
they're not doing those tours.
Yeah, you get
I've seen that.
large,
I know how that video
No
is.
attacks in the wild. Orcas don't do that.
Not in the wild, yeah.
Like my dream vacation.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna sound like a little old lady. Maybe I don't dream big, but I wish somebody would let me spend the night in Spring Mill. I want to invite all my friends, and everybody can pick a cabin to sleep in, and we can just, all have a good old time. Play some bluegrass music in the air. Alex, you can come and cook outside over the fire. Let me spend the night, my favorite little cabin at Spring Mill.
The grandma's cabin up above the schoolhouse.
On the other side of the garden, yeah.
Yeah.
That
Awesome.
sounds great to me.
All right.
She always says if we win the lottery, we don't play the lottery, so we're not going to win. But she always says, I wish I could buy Spring Mill.
I wish they'd let me buy Spring Mill. That'll never happen, but.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
All right. So obviously there's a lot of things that you find rewarding within the church, whether it's someone being baptized or new members or someone, giving their life to Christ. You don't have to be super specific, but what has been some of the most rewarding parts of leading a church?
I'll tell you, here lately, we've had a couple babies dedicated to the Lord, mine being one. But we had another little girl dedicated to the Lord here, and her family was. They all came, and it was just a wonderful thing. And I think how rewarding that is, that we offer them a place where they can come, they can feel connected and part of this church and church family enough to want to dedicate their child to the Lord here. That was a very rewarding moment for me. And also, Finley getting dedicated here, and all kinds of rewards. Seeing my family in church here every Sunday morning, and my son here, and there's just a lot. The baptisms we've had baptisms upon baptisms, and
the creek baptisms were always
the
so
creek
good.
baptisms were so fun. We really lost our ability to do that when the Hartsfields moved, but
I guess we could knock on the door if who lives there now.
Yeah, we could. But
you could always run down there on the walking trail.
Yeah, right.
Hey, you catch a day like today when
That's
it's
right.
thunderstorming like it is. Brock Creek is probably overflowing. We could probably dip some people today. But the baptisms and stuff like that. But Alex, one of the things that I would think if your stepdad was here in September, and the church picnic that we have, there's times that I just sit back and think, wow, God has brought all these people together from all kinds of different walks of life and different backgrounds and different
created a community,
a different denomination past, and different upbringings, and yet here we are all serving the Lord together,
right,
and just enjoying a good time, and those things are very rewarding.
Good.
Of course, there's nothing greater on earth than seeing somebody give their life to the Lord, for sure. Always something that is so meaningful to me is when a family decides to join the church.
Yeah.
I always get very emotional about that, because there's a lot of churches in this community, and they've chosen to be a part of this church. Now, we're all part of the church. Let's remember that. I don't like this church versus that church. We're all on the same team
we don't
here.
get down like that, do we?
But there are many churches where people could go and worship the Lord, and it's just so special that they choose this one. It just, man, I just, my heart just feels like it expands. I don't know how to explain it.
Right.
It just really overflows, and I almost cry every time somebody decides to join the church.
Yeah.
That's very special to me. And also seeing all the kids here, praising the Lord, singing. I love that. Seeing the kids learn about the Lord in children's church. Anything to do with any of our kids here is very special to me. And we've said this for years. One of our favorite things to do is, we're going to sound like real creepers, but before some people knock down the hallway, I'll get over that one day.
She's struggling with it.
But, we had to knock down some walls, praise the Lord, because more and more people started coming. But, we would stand in the hallway where nobody could see us, and we would just listen to everybody, just commune together and laugh and talk. Sometimes you'd hear people crying, hear people praying, just to hear the kids running around and screaming. That's our favorite thing to do, is to just
sit back and listen.
Sit back and listen to it. And we sound like real creepers, but boy, that just makes us.
It came from a good place.
We're just filled with joy.
Yeah.
Or sometimes we'll stand in one of the offices and you can just hear everybody. It's so nice. I have to nurse my baby a lot during church because she's a little milk monster. But anyways, so at the end of church, a lot of times I'll go back and I'll nurse her and she'll fall asleep. And I can still hear the message from where I'm at. So the last few minutes I'll sit there, and then church is over. And this happened yesterday. And I could just hear all the people just talking, so it's really nice to hear this family.
Yeah. Yeah.
What, good. Very good. What did you all do on your first date?
You remember?
Mm-hmm.
I took Adrienne to, because I was rolling in dough.
Yeah.
I was rolling in the cash. I took Adrienne to, was it Ryan's?
Mm-hmm.
And, a buffet in Seymour.
Mm-hmm.
And we went there. We went to eat. And then I think we went over to the outlet.
Went shopping.
We went shopping. And that was it.
That was it. I think it's important to know that we were pretty much dating for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a whole nother podcast too. But we were dating for a long time, but I was not really ready to date somebody. And I would tell Adam literally, gosh, this is terrible. I'd be like, we're not telling anybody we're dating.
Yeah.
We're not dating.
She was like, I'll hang out with you. But
I'll
don't
hang out with
tell-
you, but we're not dating.
Yeah.
Got to walk 10 feet behind me.
Yeah.
Pretty
Like, don't be,
much.
no.
Yeah.
Like, and when we go out to dinner, you can't be all about me. That's what I used to tell
Yeah,
him.
and I was
You
like-
cannot be all about me. Like, that's not going to happen.
like, don't worry.
Like, if we go out with a group of people,
Don't worry, I'm not.
so it was like a long time before I'd be like, fine, you can,
Yeah, it was
you
like,
can, you can tell,
months and
you can
months
tell
and
people
months.
this is a date.
Mm.
yeah.
But really, we were probably practically engaged by the time I would
Tell
people
anybody.
say that.
Yeah.
That was a me problem, not an Adam problem.
No, I was perfect. She was the one with the issue.
That's right.
Kristen and I's first date, my debit card didn't work.
Oh, what a loser.
And having gas on me. So she had to buy dinner.
Oh, that's
Man.
great.
She should have known then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First Harrison's been getting me for the last, we just had our 20th anniversary.
yeah.
They've been getting me for 20 years straight.
Oh, man.
They shut off my card every other day.
We always used to go out on Thursday nights because that's when Adam got paid.
Yeah.
And, I was a college kid, so I
Yeah.
didn't have any money.
Yeah, that was, I remember those,
Hey.
there was something beautiful.
Yeah,
there was something simple about that.
Mhm.
Is we knew that on Thursday night,
Mhm.
Thursday I got my check, and we knew that on Thursday night we were gonna go out.
somewhere.
It
yeah.
might be to a movie, it might be to
Yeah.
dinner.
And
but-
as time morphed on and we were together forever and married, date nights might have been going out to eat and then going to Walmart and getting groceries or whatever.
Yeah.
And now they've morphed into like, you just want to get something to go and take it home.
We're gonna go watch
Sit in
TV.
our sweats.
DoorDash has
Yeah,
ruined
that's
marriages.
right. No, like, we'll just, doesn't that sound so
True
nice
story.
just to stay home?
So speaking of date night, last week I had last week I made reservations and we were going to go out to eat and we were going to go to Madison and try this new steakhouse and all that. The Chop House on Main is and we were going to go over there and do that, and Adrienne
Had
wasn't
it planned for weeks.
feeling well, so we had to cancel that, and we're going to go. We're going to go
Another
this
time.
Friday. Yeah, maybe this Friday. But anyhow, that's the plan.
Yeah.
So who is the better cook of you all?
What meal?
No. I think it just has to be averaged out.
Oh, yeah,
Averaged out, I'm going to say me.
yeah.
But Adam is a great breakfast cook.
Yeah.
Adam
Yeah.
can cook.
I've had
your
his food.
house is an exception to this rule, but usually women are like, "Oh, my husband doesn't cook," and women have to do all the cooking. Adam does not mind to cook at all. I love to eat Adam's food. It's fine. Like, since having a baby, he has cooked more than I have cooked by leaps and bounds. But always, even before when I would cook,
I enjoyed it.
yeah, he is a much better breakfast cook
So
than
do you
I
all
am.
have cooking, like someone grills and does breakfast and
Yeah,
someone does
Adam-
casseroles or soups?
Adam usually cooks the breakfast most of
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
And then like Adam makes great biscuits and gravy. Adam's gravy, top notch.
Cast iron skillet.
Top
Yeah.
notch gravy. And he makes great eggs. My eggs are like no good.
Her eggs are garbage.
Compared to, yes.
You need to come
And I
over
can
and get
al-
some of these silky
I
eggs.
can only make my eggs one at a time. Two at a time is too much. But so you usually cook the breakfast and you usually do the grill.
Oh yeah.
And then other food, I'll cook. But you went through a time there where you were experimenting, and that was great. You were cooking all kinds of new stuff. We found
was
some new
bake-
fun recipes.
I was baking
Your butter
breads.
biscuits. People are in love with your butter biscuits.
I was baking breads and doing.
I
all
remember.
kinds.
We were just eating breads and soups.
I made
and
some
getting fat and
homemade
sassy.
banana bread last night.
Yeah. Did you?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is
But
All
you,
right.
you use
Go.
healthy recipes. You're like, yeah.
Yeah, I do. I substitute like flour for like
Not,
protein stuff.
not me.
and
I'm like, put the lard in there. You
We
know.
have-
honey
we have
instead
never
of
cooked with
brown
lard in our
sugar.
house.
Yeah, yeah. So, favorite fast food restaurant?
Fast food, like
Yeah.
in this town.
Not just any fast food.
Any fast
even
food?
if it's something like you only get when you go on vacation, right?
I love chicken salad chick.
There you
Yeah.
go.
That's one of my favorite fast
yeah.
foods.
Kristen likes that one.
I love chicken salad chick.
Yeah. Almost always, if I'm in a town where there's a Chick-fil-A, I'm
Yeah.
going to eat that. But here lately, I'll tell you what I've been, and it's probably starting to show. but I'll hit the drive-through at Fazoli's.
I haven't ate Fazoli's in 25
Man,
years.
I'll
I
tell you
still
what.
say best breadsticks on earth.
Yeah, if you've seen
Fazoli's, wow.
me driving down the interstate with my feet, it's because I got a chicken carbonara.
Like, how are
in
you
my
eating that
hand.
driving down the road?
Adrienne asked me wasn't too long ago. She's like, "What'd you have for lunch?" I was like, "I'm just finishing my chicken carbonara and
Gosh.
doing 80 on the interstate, driving with my knees." So Lord be with me.
And for anybody listening, do you all remember the breadstick lady at the Clarksville
Yeah,
Fazoli's? It was the same lady like my whole life from my time I was a little child. I haven't been in that restaurant in years, but same lady my whole life.
yeah.
I can picture her right now, and I'm so sad I don't know her name. Same little lady that would come around and ask you if you wanted a breadstick.
I
Those were the
remember.
good old days.
Yeah, those were the days.
All right, let's get a couple just more deeper questions, and then we'll finish it up. We got a little bit of time left.
We'll be quicker.
That's okay. So, what advice would you give someone that's feeling called to the ministry or is entertaining the ministry or just, wants to know more? What advice would you give someone that's kind of looking in that direction, feeling something on their heart?
Yeah, I would say, find you some people to surround yourself with that have done it, that have been in it, and they're seasoned. Get you some wise counsel, because they're going to be able to tell you the ups about it. They're also going to be able to tell you the downs about it, and they're likely to be able to be there for you and walk you through the hard times.
Yeah.
I've got those people in my life. I've surrounded myself with good people, and I'll be quick with this. You can't ask a pastor a question like this and then not expect
we got time.
In-depth answer.
Wasn't the 3 pastor podcast like 2 hours long?
Yeah, but so if you remember when David was anointed the next king of Israel, he was going to precede Saul. That when Samuel came to him and anointed him, David and Samuel had a pretty close relationship. And I believe that the reason that that God would end up one day saying of David, "David is a man after my own heart," was because David surrounded himself with people like Samuel, who put into him the desire or the need to be a person of prayer, be a person of devotion. And, I think it's important that you surround yourself with the right people. Otherwise, you can't go at this alone. I know that. So.
I would say probably like 3 things. One, I would say, it's not a commitment on a Sunday morning that you're making. It really is a lifelong commitment, 24/7. So, if you feel like God has called you to that, just know that that's what it is. If it's just a Sunday
part-time
thing,
job.
Then you're just a preacher. You're not a pastor,
Right. And there's a place for that.
Sure,
There are
absolutely.
There are churches out there, and there are congregations that are simply just looking for someone to fill the pulpit.
Yeah. And I would say a biggie, I think you will admit you had to learn this, is don't say yes to everything. Not everything that comes down the pipe is just because it has a Christian label on it or whatever, it means that it's a good Christian thing that you should do. So don't say yes to everything. Yeah. And I would say, I don't know. I would say, as a wife, you support your husband, keep him grounded, remind him of things. But, don't say yes to everything. I don't know. I had 3 in my mind before I started talking.
That's okay. Here's another one. So back to Salem Community Church. What is maybe a vision or a change or something that, you see in the future for Salem Community Church, like a goal or something like that over the next, year or two? What's something you'd like to see happen with the church?
I would like to, if we're talking about congregationally speaking, we have a lot of new members. We have a lot of people that's joined this year. It's kind of come in waves, but this last membership we had several people join, and we have several seasoned Christians that are here, and I would love, and maybe this is a fault of mine, maybe this is something I need to work on, but I would love to see, leaders step up and be willing to take on or lead some things, and I think that would be good. I think that's what we're supposed to be doing, is we're supposed to be equipping people to do things, and I think whether that be I'm not talking about filling the pulpit on Sunday morning or preaching, but groups and small groups and things like that. I would love to see that, and love to see some other ministry ideas develop in this church, but go out into the community, whether it be serving meals somewhere or something like that. I think that would be great. Service projects.
Yeah, I'm always really nervous to think about having this goal or that goal, because one of the hardest things for me about being in the ministry, leading a church, is always making sure that we're doing what God wants us to do. I always want to make sure we're doing what God wants us to do. So sometimes I don't like to think ahead very far when it comes to this. But you have to plan things, and it's good to set goals and have ideas. You have to do that, but I don't want to get ahead of God. I feel like I get my feet all tripped up, and then I'm scared I'm doing what God doesn't want me to do, and that is the scariest, hardest thing for me as one of the leaders of this place, is to make sure that I'm doing what God wants me to do.
Well, how do you, Adam? Just to go off of that, how do you encourage? What's one way that you can encourage people to, to think about things they can do and become those leaders? And
well, it always starts with a burden. Every ministry begins with a burden, and what I mean by that is, if you look around and you see a need, and you're like, man, somebody should do something about that.
Yeah.
Well, if God has placed that burden on your heart to think that, man, somebody should do something about that, maybe that someone's you.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
come talk to you.
If you see a need, I wish we were doing better about, and here's the thing, there are some ideas we just don't have room for. Not right now. So if you tell me, hey, let's open up a clothing shop that's going to offer free clothes to people in need in the community. Listen, that is a great idea. And if you can get donations and you can get all the stuff needed to do that, that's wonderful. But that's going to have to probably be an off-site thing, because we don't have the space for that. We can't house it. So, but if God has placed a burden on your heart for that, then that is a ministry that you need to pursue. And so I would encourage you to first pray about it. And what I find that if it is of God, it won't go away. If God has placed something on your heart, it's not going to pass overnight. You're going to wake up thinking about it. You're going to wake up thinking about it every day for the rest of your life until you do something about it. That's how I feel. But if it's just a thought of yours, it's going to pass in a couple days. So sleep on it, but pray about it, sleep on it. And then if it doesn't go away and it's of God, then you need to find myself or another spiritual leader in your church or wherever you may attend and pursue that, because if God lays a burden on your heart, they should be willing to help you achieve that.
I remember what I was going to say. Can I say something now?
Go ahead.
You said something and it made me think.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if it's like a positive thing and we know that God, wants somebody to do it, it's not going to create any type of division.
Right.
But that was my third thing about ministry, advice for somebody going in ministry. Like
If it causes
if it's
division,
between
it's not
you
of
and
God.
your husband, and let's say you or your husband thinks he should pursue ministry, if it causes division, it's not of God,
Yeah.
So
God-
don't say yes to everything.
Yeah.
And if it causes division, it's not of the Lord.
God always multiplies and adds. He never
Right.
divides.
So go ahead and, maybe there's some people that haven't listened to your podcast or don't know much about Salem Community Church, but go ahead and
Yeah.
give a couple minute commercial here about, where we're at,
Okay.
what we do,
Yeah.
what
So
we offer.
One thing I would want people to know about Salem Community Church is that first and foremost, we love the Lord here. We are spirit led, we are spirit fed, but we are a non-denominational church, meaning you're going to come in here and you're going to sit next to someone who was maybe grew up a Baptist, or maybe grew up at the Church of the Nazarene, or maybe grew up Catholic.
Yeah, we have some
And,
Catholic people here.
We have people of all walks of life. And then you'll have some people who this was their first church.
Mhm.
And, we've got it all, from the Methodist to the Pentecostal to the Baptist to the Nazarene to the Wesleyans. We've got them all. And, but God has brought us all together, and there's unity here, and we're all in one accord. And so, again, what you're going to find when you come in here is you're going to feel welcomed. You're going to be greeted. And I will tell you that if you're somebody who's like, oh man, I just, and let me say this, I'm not knocking this, because there's a place for it. But there are churches out there where you can go, you can slide in the door, you can have a seat, you can sit through service, and you can slide out the door, and nobody will know if you're there or not. Nobody knows your name. Nobody knows if you attended. Nobody knows your problems. Nobody knows your issues. There's a place you can go that's like that.
This place probably wouldn't be for you if you like that.
This isn't that place.
Well, you may like that, but you don't need that.
Right.
So
Right.
there's a difference.
And that may be your thing. And that's okay if that's your thing. Maybe that's where you're at in your life.
I think
right now.
those people still want to be noticed and they want to be talked to, but they don't know how to do it.
Mhm.
And showing
Right.
up is their first step.
Right. But going back to this church, when you come in Salem Community Church, you're going to meet the man in the overalls at the door, and he's going to shake your hand, and he's going to welcome you, and he's going to greet you. If it's your first time, you are going to feel like you've been here many times,
Probably. Yep.
because what's going to happen is probably in the first couple minutes of coming in and trying to find your seat, you're going to be met by Diane,
Mhm.
or
I have seen Diane take somebody by the hand and give them a tour of this church on their very first time. She's like, "Oh, come here, just let me show you around." It was the
Yeah.
kindest thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even do that as a pastor's wife.
You can
Right.
show up
But that-
3 minutes before church and still get the tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is just how welcoming, the people are here. But,
But that's what-
Diane, she's so hospitable,
But that's what
So, yeah,
that's what it
it's so
takes,
sweet.
because it's going to be those people who take you by the hand, make you feel comfortable,
Mhm.
and say, "Hey, I also want you to know that because of the layout of our building, it's a little bit different. This wasn't designed to be a church. This is where God planted us, and God turned this into a church. So our layout is a little bit unconventional. It's a little bit different than most churches you're going to walk into. So by coming in here and looking at first glance, you're like, man, they don't have any bathrooms. They don't have this. Well, that's why you've got people like Diane
yeah.
who says,
It's like,
hey,
"Oh,
here's where the
here's the
restrooms
bathrooms,
are. And
here's
their
the nursery."
and the youth room and the children's church and all that stuff. And, this
Yeah.
is just a family atmosphere.
So church starts 10:30.
Church starts at 10:30 every Sunday, like clockwork. Sometimes 10:35. Usually by 10:35 we're rolling. Depends on how windy I get.
How many
or-
new hands you have to
That's
shake?
right, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah. So 10:30 every Sunday morning. You can catch us here in person or online on our YouTube or Facebook page. Wednesday night Bible study.
And there's Sunday school for ages. What's the
Children's
age?
church.
Children's
Children's
church.
church. That happens like come in, we worship together, and then
I'm a
kids.
big advocate of kids getting to worship with their parents.
I
I
agree,
think our kids need to be with us during that worship time.
Yep, I think so
because there's just something good about our kids seeing mom and dad worship the Lord.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
so
then they
then-
break to kids go to children's church, and that is ages 4 years through 5th grade.
And we have a
then
nursery
age
for
0 to 3 can go to the nursery.
right.
And
And what
Go ahead.
what I would say too about our nursery and some of those other areas we have is that if a lot of people don't like to take their kid to the nursery because they're like, I'm in church and I'm going to miss the message and this and that. The good thing I like about what we do here is everything that we do is live stream, live camera right now. And so if you go to the nursery, there's a big TV in there, and
yeah,
it's
you get the message.
it's streaming our service. You don't miss anything.
Mm-mm.
If your child's fussy or if you need to nurse or whatever the case may be,
Hold on.
you can step in there. And I've had so many people, Alex, tell me how much they enjoyed
Yeah.
being able to go in there and try
We
to
may,
rock,
hold
rock
on.
their
We
baby.
may have. I think we lost audio.
How long ago?
I don't know. It couldn't have been that long ago. I think one of these lightning strikes took it out.
I was going to say earlier, I almost feel like I'm going to get electrocuted in this storm with all of this.
Well, what's funny
gear
is
on.
It's still recording, but I don't see our voices jumping up and down.
is if our audio
It's jumping up and down on that. Does
is
that matter?
if our audio didn't get lost,
and we're having this
and
conversation.
we're having this conversation now, I'm not cutting it out. People are going to get the behind the
This
scenes.
is the real deal.
This is the
We
real
keep it
deal.
real around here.
Questions and answers.
So the problem, we may not have it on this, but you're going to have it on that. Did you press record?
Yeah.
It may just be audio only then.
Okay.
I think one of those lightning
that makes
bumps
it.
took it out.
You mean audio? I'm with you. I know what you're saying.
I've got
Gotcha.
video. Well, I don't think I can do anything about it right now
That's okay.
without stopping. So
Well-
if you're recording over there, we'll keep going.
Well, we've gone an hour and 21 minutes. We're probably
go ahead and finish with Wednesday nights.
Wednesday nights at
6 o'clock.
I lost my train of thought. Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock, and then
Sunday night at 6 o'clock.
Sunday
Wednesday
nights
night at 6 o'clock is Bible study.
Yeah.
And then for all ages. And then Sunday night at 6 o'clock is our youth group, and that's for middle school and high school.
wonderful youth program.
Yep.
I would encourage you even if you've got a home church and they don't have a youth group,
Yeah.
get your kids in youth group. Bring them here.
Yeah, we have 4
You know.
really fun, really
Young,
awesome young youth leaders.
and
yeah.
they can run with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the few programs like the women's program.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
women's ministry that happens here. We've got a joy group that
Mhm.
happens. Joy group happens usually the last Wednesday of the month.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of like you would call it like a daytimers club or something. Like
Yeah, like
they meet during the day, and they'll sometimes go out to eat, or they'll
Yeah.
go meet at somebody's house and have lunch and have a little devotional, things like
I
that.
would say it's more people who are probably retirement age,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to say that.
It's for anybody.
Yeah,
though.
it's for anybody. If you
Mhm.
just happen to be off that day that
Yeah.
they're doing the joy group, you're welcome to go.
Mhm.
I went a month or two
Yeah,
ago,
yeah.
and we all went to have lunch at Cracker Barrel. We loaded up the
Mhm.
bus and went, but
Mhm.
it was good.
And that's all I've got.
Okay.
That was good.
Well, there's our questions and there's our answers, and I hope maybe we figure this out, and maybe we did get video and audio. If not, you've just got something to listen to this week. And Adrienne, it's been great having you with us.
No problem.
And Alex, as always, thank you for being here and being the voice behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
Glad to be here.
sorry about the loss. Sorry about the loss of your chicken. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us this evening, this morning, or this afternoon, whenever it is you've decided to tune in. We'll ask that you come back and join us again. We'll see you later. God bless you. Bye-bye.
I don't know when it went out. Let's check.
Well, it's a good thing.
Do we need to re-record? Not tonight, but
No, he'll have it there.
Huh?
You'll have it on your thing.
I have audio.
Unless something went out